Hello, YouTube. Hello, howdy. Maybe I should have an actual intro. But anyways, today what I'm doing is not playing Battle Cats yet. You should not see that. Hey, look. Hey, look. Yap session. Anyways, don't worry. I will be doing an 11 draw on that in a minute, but I want to do that at the end of the video this time because I want to get right to the point, which today, the point of the video is, I never really give myself the freedom of yap. Because I keep in mind that I feel like I have to stay on point and I have to, you know, I have to keep it short. I have to keep it attentive and I have to keep it like that. So today is gonna set me free a little bit because all I'm doing is talking about my predictions for 14.7 or whatever the next update is. And by major update, kind of the next 0.1 update or whatever. I'm not talking about 0.01 or whatever. I'm not talking about those small updates. I'm talking about actual updates, since it should be coming around the corner. Now that 14.6 is now in global. Excuse me. But now that 14.6 is global, I want to talk about some things. As you can see, I have Hollow Knight in the bottom left. No, I have a set here, right? I don't think anything will happen with a set, but she came out in 12.7, right? And she got her true form a couple of updates ago. You want to know who else came out around the version of 12? Kaoluga. My boy Kaoluga came out in 12.4. A set came out in 12.7. The set is newer than Kaoluga and got a true form. Therefore, I believe that in next update, Kaoluga will finally get his true form. And honestly, my prediction is that it turns that mini surge into a surge. Thoughts? I mean, that would be super busted. Also, what? Oh, okay. I was misreading that. Yes, that is right. Or maybe just a guaranteed knockback against everything, but at the same time, that could kind of be bad sometimes, depending on where the mini surge lands. So I don't really know how I would feel about that as a true form for Kaoluga. I feel like other things would have to be added, like maybe a shorter reach. Honestly, I would love Nekoluga treatment here. I would love Nekoluga treatment here, which would just be half the cost and half the recharge time. Because both of those things would allow for Kaoluga to be much easier used and much less valuable, right? Like, I don't mean I mean he'll be more expendable almost, you know? He won't be as much of a risk to actually use. Like, yes, he has the combo, but if his true form benefits just his cost and his recharge time, then he can be much easier to use, much more expendable, and much overall better as a unit, since one of his main downsides is his long-ass recharge time, you know? So honestly, lower the recharge time to 160, and I would be so happy. Or increase his damage / attack frequency. All three of those things, I would be so happy with. The only thing I wouldn't be happy with is only getting a knockback up or HP up. Those are the only two things I would really not be happy with. But I do have faith that they won't fuck it up. But I want him to be good. I don't want him to be busted, so I don't actually want him to get a normal surge whenever he gets true form. But I do want something about him to become better, so that it's not one of those true forms that gets fucked, like in that one video where I talked about screwed over true forms. Because I don't believe that an Uber that's already good should get a terrible true form. Because I just want everybody to have a actual benefit from their true form. And so I would like for Kaoluga to get some sort of buff, because Kaoluga is not perfect, you know? And Barog's true form gave him pretty good buffs from what I remember. So why not give Kaoluga some buffs, you know what I mean? My next prediction is the next legend rare true form. That's right, I still have my hopes that there will be more legend true forms. And my prediction for the next one is obviously Jian, because she was the next one that came in the same update as Babel and Musashi. But I believe that her true form, her being a Galaxy gal, I just think she'll get like a huge stat buff, you know? I think her HP will probably go up by like 50%, her damage will go up by 50%, and her movement speed might go up by like 5. That's, and then maybe even like more range, so like 450 attack range plus 600 pierce, rather than just 550, but no changing the first one, you know? I think that would be pretty cool, really good, but also it's a legend rare, so I want it to be really good. Like, I want it to be really good. I want legend rare true forms to be really good and beneficial and fitting to the units from the banner. Like, Musashi's true form actually makes a lot of sense for the banner he's from, the Vajiras. Their true forms don't really do a whole lot on their own. Like, occasionally they will, but on their own, their true forms don't tend to do a lot. They just, you know, better everything about them. Like, it just makes them better at what they already do, which is exactly what Musashi does. Kind of the same with Dragon Emperors for Babel, except he doesn't have a proc like pretty much the rest of the Dragon Emperors, so he couldn't really mimic the actual good part of the Dragon Emperor true form. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't get the best thing about the typical Dragon Emperor true form, which is the status. So he kind of missed out on that. But, like, that's just because he didn't have a status to start out with. He was built different than the rest of them. But Jian is built the same as, like, Thundia and Windy if they were LD units, right? So I think it would be so fitting to give Jian, like, a super big buff. And maybe even strengthened, since that would be kind of fitting with Windy and Thundia, you know? Since, I mean, Jian's already kind of a combination of the two, you know? But maybe my hopes are a little too high for that one. I just want Jian to be good. People kind of look over her for no reason. But Chronos. There's a reason why I have Chronos on here. Notice how last update, I've been playing too much Rivals. No, in the last update, we did not get an Ultra Form, which means we have to get an Ultra Form, right? Like, we have to, at least one. I'm hoping for 2, since, you know, we didn't get one last update, but, you know, maybe my hopes are too high. But I do believe that if any of the Almighties get an Ultra Form, it will be and should be Chronos, because Chronos' Ultra Talents will not be able to give her the buffs that she requires in order to actually be good, because her Ultra Talents cannot flip this multi-hit. That's what I really want. I want her Ultra Form to give her maybe more damage, I don't really know, but I mean, at level 60, that kind of solves that problem for her. Lower her blind spot, first of all, and maybe increase her LD, but I mainly just want this multi-hit to flip. I want the strongest hit to be the first hit, and then I want the weakest hit to be the last one. Or make the second and first hits the same damage, but keep the damage on the last one. But I don't like that the first hit is the weakest hit. I do not like that. And then I also think it would be fun if each of the freezes scaled up with, like, if they do keep the weakest, mediocre, and strongest attacks, I think, or I say mediocre, middle, I think that it would be cool if they, like, made it so that the first hit does the second freeze, or does the 1 second freeze, the second hit does like a 1.5 second freeze, and the last hit does a 2 second freeze. That, I think, would be really cool. There's a lot of things they can do that would be really good for Chronos and really cool without making her busted, because she's already really good, right? Like, she has relatively short recharge time for what she provides, which is 450 standing range with 250 effective pierce, while having good survivability. Great survivability, actually. What I really don't want to see is fucked up Ultra Talents or a fucked up Ultra Form. That's the last thing I want to see. But I do really want to see an Almighty True Form or Ultra Form at some point, and I hope it's Chronos, because I think they could do a lot with her. And it would be really cool just as a unit overall without making her busted. But I feel like if she does get an Ultra Form, they're not going to make it like super like mid. I don't think they're going to give it the same things that I'm saying. I think that if they do give Chronos an Ultra Form, they'll give her something crazy, like her freeze instead of 1 second is 2 seconds, which alone would make Chronos probably one of the, literally the best debuffer in the game, because instead of having 3 seconds of freeze every 10 seconds, that would be 6 seconds of freeze every 10 seconds, and that would provide a big enough freeze in order for there to not be any blind spot between, or any blank space between her freezes, which means that she would only have like 3 or 4 seconds of downtime between her freezes, and they would be constant freezes. So that'd be insane and busted, but I think it would be really fitting. I think it would be fitting because Chronos is meant to be good, right? And Ultra Forms are meant to make them good, right? Like really good. So I hope Chronos gets an Ultra Form, and if she just gets Ultra Talents, then just I'm predicting immunities, like immune to Surge, immune to Wave, and maybe like a Zombie Killer or some shit like that. Like I don't think she'll get anything good if she gets Ultra Talents, genuinely. Maybe traitless targeting, but you know, I really don't know. Maybe crit, or maybe she'll take something from Chronos the Bride and get a mini wave, except make it guaranteed. God, if they give her a mini wave, make it guaranteed, or maybe a normal wave. That would also be kind of cool, and it would be really good. I feel like that would be too good because Chronos' damage isn't bad by any means. It's just I don't like that the fact that the weakest hit is the first hit. I just don't like that because that's the one that's like actually reliably going to hit, because her force wing is not long at all. So like the one that's most reliable to hit is also the weakest attack. Like that's the opposite problem that, well, no, that's kind of the same problem as Momoko has, where you're kind of less likely to actually get the strongest hit off. But at least with Momoko, that's the proc wave. With Empress, it's just it's nothing. There's nothing better about the first hit than the last one. So there's like I just don't like it. But anyways, next prediction. Same as Chronos, it's either an Ultra Form or Ultra Talents. Lufalan. I actually looked at this. I wanted to say Shishalan because I so badly want to see a Shishalan Ultra Form. However, Shishalan very recently got talents. Like that was like not even a year ago, or like about a year ago. Lufalan hasn't been touched since update 10.7. So I thought maybe, you know, just maybe, Lufalan can get the Ultra Form, the first Ultra Form of the Nekolugas, and turn this Luffy reference into a maybe Gear 5 Luffy reference, which would be a spoiler to some people, but I mean, if you're not fully caught up on One Piece, are you ever going to get there? I mean, I guess if the One Piece comes out, or like One Piece or whatever, but like, by the way, if they give him Ultra Talents, finish off the Resist Surge. Like that's just evil. Like it would be so evil to not finish off that Resist Surge. You know what I mean? But then like the upgrade critical chance, like what's his total percent chance? 30%. Honestly, give him an Ultra Form and turn that up to like 50%, so it's plus 10, so it's 60%. So effectively doubling it. Like that would be sick. You know? Make him more consistent against metals. Give him Lethal Strike Strengthen, just like you gave Kaoluga or something. Like, or maybe make him fast and like durable, since Gear 5 Luffy, spoiler alert, is actually like both of those things. Make him a little more goofy, you know what I mean? Make his arms wave around instead of just staying straight all the time, you know? But I don't think they would do a complete unit rework like that. So if they do give him an Ultra Form, I think maybe they'll just increase his range to like 820 or maybe like 920. Maybe increase his damage. Please at least give him Survival Lethal Strike. Lufalan's like one of the only Nekolugas to never get Survival Lethal Strike as of right now. So please, aside from Kaoluga, of course, and Mamaluga, since those two don't even have a true form yet. But like, come on, he deserves Survival Lethal Strike. He's like one of the most vulnerable ones at this point. Well, I say one of the most vulnerable ones. He still has a lot of range, so it wouldn't really. He's not really that vulnerable, but you know what I mean, right? Like, you know what I mean. Give him more HP too, you know. And while you're at it, give him some more movement speed. Give him more damage or something. Or what you can do is you can take it a whole nother route. Keep the unit design or whatever, but give him Savage Blow. Having this Savage Blow plus critical hit chance would be one, of, I want to say 2 or maybe 3 units to have the ability to crit and Savage Blow. Hold up, can Konako crit and Savage Blow? I think she can, right? Crit, Savage Blow, yeah. So I think Konako is literally the only one to be able to do that right now. So giving Lufaland that second ability of Savage Blow, like 20% Savage Blow, would actually be really cool. But I honestly, something that I think would be pretty cool as well is lowering his attack frequency. It's not a very high attack frequency, but I mean you have a lot of room to spare. So like cut off like a second or two, and he would be really good already just off of that. And maybe shorten his force swing. Actually, you know what? Not even maybe. Shorten his force swing, bro. And if you really want to give him AoE, give him like, I don't know, mini surge or just a random surge, kind of like a Bikini Land surge where it's just like, it's very random. Except his would only be level 1, because if it was any higher level than that, then that would be way too overpowered. Honestly, I'm thinking that even just a level 1 surge would be overpowered, because look at the damage. This is a level 30, by the way. Applying the fact that he'll be level 60 with Ultra Form or Ultra Talents. Sorry. That would be each attack, so every 8 seconds. That's 500,000 damage. That is 500,000 damage every 8 seconds. Yeah. It would take him 8 seconds to do what oh, that's not even counting the crit, by the way. It would take him 8 seconds to do what Lazvos fails mostly to do in like his entire lifespan. Can you please play instead of load, bro? My internet has not been good lately. But it might be my computer. I think my computer might be the issue there. But that's besides the point. I need to delete Fortnite because I don't play it anymore. My friends, for some reason, still like it. But that's my like Uber predictions of the next update, because it's kind of hard to predict non-Ubers, you know. But of course, I can say one thing. One last thing. This is more of a hope than an actual prediction, because if it does happen, it's probably going to happen on 15.0, not 14.7. Normal Cats Ultra Talents. Either that or talents for these guys, or for these guys. Talents for these guys. So either Ultra Talents or Ultra Forms for the normal cats, or talents for the SOL legends. One of those two. Or maybe even Gigando True Form, who knows? But like, you know, one of those two is, I mean, that's kind of my prediction for 15.0, not necessarily this update, but a man can hope, you know what I mean? But yeah, so I think that's all of my predictions. So if you did enjoy, please do come back for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Wait, I gotcha. I still have an 11 draw to do. I swear to God, if I don't get Kenshin, I swear to God, if I get a duplicate instead of Kenshin, I'm actually gonna be mad. Hey, look, Cutter. It's amazing I've gotten that many backos. Dude, I'm not even getting a... Bruh, it's only gonna be the guarantee. And it's gonna be a fucking duplicate. What did I fucking tell you, bro? What? I still don't have Kenshin on my main, bruh. I'm like salty about it. I'm like dead ass salty about it. I still don't have Kenshin on my main, so I can't get her Ultra Form, even though that's like the one unit in the game that I simp for. What new super rare did I get? Oh, hey, by the way, on my main I got Brainwashed Gross. So, not only do I have some of the best Ubers in the game, I also have probably the best super rare in the game whenever it comes to like, you know, whenever it comes to non-Manicure Racer Kankan. And I guess Cyberpunk. I'll consider Cyberpunk above this guy. Honestly, this thing deserves level 50. I don't care what anybody says. This thing is actually so strong. Like, Brainwashed Macho Legs is... Hold up. Let me finish leveling him up to level 50, and then we can talk about damage levels. Because remember, he's only 600 cost, and he has the same recharge time as Nekoluga, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, isn't that long. Okay, so seasonal, probably? Yes. Okay. Oh, it's probably, you know what? YouTube's probably lagging because I have so many tabs open. That's probably what it is. But yeah, so at level 30, that is 5,500 effective DPS. So if you look at level 50, then oh wait, you can go up to Dude, the fact that this can go plus 70 is actually wild. But so I mean, look at this. So you can either deal 7,000 damage per hit, which would be multiplied by 5 thanks to the level 4 surge. And if that doesn't make sense to you, it's the base hit times 1 and then add 4 to that multiplier. It's not that complicated if you just think about it. So that is 35,000 damage per hit. That is 35,000 damage per hit, and 55,000 damage per hit. Depending on, plus 70, which I doubt anybody has plus 70 on this thing. So let's say it's 35,000 damage per hit. One hit every 4 seconds. So like every 10 seconds, you're dealing like 90,000 damage. Like it's actually crazy. Because if you multiply this by 5, that would be 50. So it would be about 10 to 11,000 DPS. Oh wait, no, wait. I'm stupid. No, because the DPS was like different than that. What was the DPS to level 50 again? Yeah, 1,700. So multiply that by 5. That would be 8,500 DPS. 8,500 DPS. 8,500 DPS on a fucking super rare that you can replace. I mean, it's every 30 seconds, but that you can place down for only 60 cents. That also, is pretty survivable. Like, I mean, it doesn't have that much HP, but it has good knockback count, and it has decent range. So, like, And if you really want to be nitpicky about it, oh, it has single targeting, so you should turn down the multiplier by 1. I mean, it's just the same thing, but, like, multiply this by 4 instead of 5, Like, it's still a lot. It's still 6,800 DPS on a super rare that you can place out every 30 seconds. You want to know what else has 6,800 DPS? Not a lot, but want to know what else has less than that? Mitama. Mitama has a good amount less DPS, while having much longer recharge time and the same range. Of course, she has LD, but Surge effectively gives Brainwash Macho Legs LD effectively. So, weird comparison, I know, but like really good. And the fact that you can plus 70 is crazy. Anyways, this video kind of went off the rails, but yeah, no Kenshin, unfortunately. But I already did my outro earlier, like 7 minutes ago. Damn. I went off topic for like half of the length of the original video that I was meant to be talking about. See, this is what I mean. I gave myself a little more freedom. Hopefully you enjoyed that. But see ya.